Hello, my name is Zach Menaby. I am a junior at the American School of Tangier. I have lived here in Tangier my entire life and have been to AST since KG1. I've experienced basically everything there is to experience at AST. I've experienced new teachers, new students, new people, just just in general, a great experience at AST. I still have a year and a half here and I can't wait to experience more about it. My history at AST has included fruitful events such as many Mazak trips, MUN, meeting new people, new friends, new teachers, and new administrators, new everything basically. I've seen the building of a new wing, as you see right behind my head. This bench was never here until like, I don't know, last year. The playground that is right behind the camera was there in KG2 and they got knocked down at some point. And as for where I'd like for AST to go, I'd like AST to go in a more green direction. Saving the planet, climate change, all of that stuff. Basically, we are the future. We have to save the planet before it's too late.
Hi, I'm Khala El Jabak and I'm a junior in the American School of Tangier. The American School is a great factor of what made me who I am today. I've been in the school for 6 years now. It has really made me who I am. I met great people. I met new students, new teachers. I learned a lot of things. I gained a lot of knowledge. We are making an archive and for the American School. It's 70th anniversary, and we want to know what is the American School of Tangier, all about its history. I've seen this school go from a very great school, but it has become so much better, so much cleaner. We are focusing on the climate change now. We all know that the students are the foundation, and it's the world, like what the future is. I'm so happy to be part of this project.
I'm the new head of school for AST. I'm in my 5th year, and after Joe McPhillips passed away, there were 5 heads before me, and that was in a quick 8-year period. Since then, I've managed to hang on and stay the course, and my leadership has been organized around a framework that I call coherence, and it's not my term by someone named Michael Fullen. And through coherence, to create coherence in a school, you create a focusing direction, you create a collaborative culture, you then deepen the learning, and then in the end you secure accountability. Well, what does that mean? That means that if I tell everybody to face north, we all know where north is. So here at AST, we have created a direction, and now we're in year 3 of moving in that direction, and we're starting to see the results. There's consistency of expectations, there's a deepening of relationships, and as one person wrote, Michael Fullen and Joanne Quinn said, coherence is the shared depth of understanding about the purpose and nature of the work. So what is the purpose and nature of our work? Well, truly, the AST mission has not changed since 1950. We have a new package, but it's the same mission. The mission is to educate children to be all that they can be in the world stage as well as locally. AST used to be the diplomats, that was their mascot, and well, I'm not sure that needs explanation. A diplomat is a person who goes forth and wrestles with difficult problem out in the world and brings people to a single direction, a forward direction. Same thing here. We're now the Falcons, and together we are trying to, what are we trying to do? We're trying to create a better world. We're trying to fight climate change. We're trying to fight the dissolution of global trust. How are we going to do that? We're doing it through education. We're doing it through our children. And, frankly, we're going to change the model of education here at AST. As we know, Joe McPhillips was an amazing educator, and he had amazing results. And also, he was very traditional. The children were in straight rows in desks. They had distinct assignments. They had very little freedom in terms of what they were allowed to choose and how they expressed themselves. A test, an assessment at the end of a course was a written exam. These days, we're moving more towards, as you can see here, videography. This is a student-led project creating the history of the school. And my hope, and actually not even my hope, what we're going to do is create a 21st century learning environment. This year is 2020. We're 20 years, a fifth of the way through the 21st century. Yet we're still teaching as though we were in the 18th century. We're still teaching as though our parents are factory workers and their children need a place to be during the day, and that we are the place of custody and control of our kids. We control them by giving them memorization assignments, and we sort them the way they used to do in the old days. You get an A, you get a D, you're the manager of the plant, you're the factory worker. What I want to do, which is not democratic, by the way, and it's not even just what I want to do, what we want to do. The old model has a teacher on top, the student below, and the student has to do what the teacher says. The teacher has to do what I say. I have to do what the standards are and what the board says. That's not democratic. That's a top-down system. What I'm trying to do among my faculty, and what we've been doing for the last 3 years, is developing a network model. A network model is one where we're all equal in terms of say and decisions. So if you think of it as almost as a spider web, and you have student learning in the middle, and then all of us around the outside connecting in all different ways and creating a web of learning for the students, if you will. And having the students within that web as well. The student voice is just as important. 2 years ago, we received $1.1 million from the United States government, from USAID, the Agency for International Development, through the American Schools and Hospitals Abroad program. In that project proposal, we told them, and I will just give you a direct quote from the project description, the 100-word description. This project, designed to promote creative thinking, exploration, and expression, will provide a context for teacher and stakeholder development. The result will be students exposed to an American entrepreneurial mindset of endless possibilities through programs that elicit a creative mindset and a collaborative problem-solving approach to the world. Our goal is to pretty much liberate learning. We want the students able to learn what their passions are and to learn, I wouldn't say organically, that might be the wrong way to put it, but if you think of the way that you learned best, was it in a classroom with someone telling you to do something? Or was it because you were inspired and you went on YouTube to figure it out, and you read books and you talked to professionals and you probed and you spent time on your free time? That's the kind of learning we want for children. That's what they're going to remember. So with this grant, like I said, we promised a 21st century learning program, and we're going to initiate that full tilt next year at our middle school. We'll have some of the traditional learning, or traditional class schedule, I wouldn't necessarily traditional learning, but 2 weeks out of every quarter is going to be student-driven, project-based learning. And that learning will be based on the interest of the children and, we hope, directed towards climate issues. As a school, we've adopted 7 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. And my hope, and I think really the only salvation for the world, is that we empower students right down from first grade up to address these problems together. Because climate change is not going to stop thanks to some adult. As you can see, the world stage is in chaos. Trust is gone. We need our students to approach these problems at the local level and then transmit them out to a countrywide and a global level. Same thing with trust. How's that going to happen? Well, as the students create their projects, they can make posts on the web about them, connect to other schools. We're already networking with other schools who want to go in this direction. Tie professionals into them. So if I want to know if I want to harvest rainwater because I want to grow a garden, which by the way, we're building huge gardens and we're going to feed the whole school organically. It's going to be amazing. The Boulders was here yesterday to do it. So if I want to harvest rainwater, then I don't only talk to my fellow students and to other schools, but we will have contacted professors and energy specialists who will help us, guide us in this process. So what does this mean for AST? It means that AST will continue to be the amazing community it's always been. AST graduates contribute to the world. You can see them in the United Nations, you can see them doing solar energy, you can see them as diplomats. They're everywhere. And that is a piece we're going to continue. AST will continue to serve the world. We are here, we are solid, and I hope you'll come along and see what we're doing, join the ride, help us address climate change. And together, AST can not only change education here in Tangier, but we can change it across Morocco. I was just at a conference in Marrakesh. There were 1,000 people there, researchers, and from around the world, all focused on what are we going to do. And if you look at the World Bank's stats, Morocco, the education system is struggling. AST can help there. AST can remove or lower the graph that shows that Moroccan schools require undue amounts of memorization. AST can be a model school. Can go out, our students can go out and teach other students and work with teachers, and other teachers can come and work with us. So AST is not here just for the AST, the 380 students, the 250 families that we're serving right now, or for our graduates. We're here for Morocco, and we're going to, my hope and my determination is to change the Moroccan education system for the better.
Okay, I'm Karim Benzakor. I'm 58 years old, and I've been working at this school since September 1988. That's when I joined the American School of Tangier. I was hired by Joe McPhillips to work as business manager. I was young at that time, and for me, it was the first time I was going to work in an office, be a administrative, manager. And I have to say that the job turned out to be quite exciting because shortly after I started working at the school, Joe got me involved with things like plays and graduation ceremonies, and it was fun for me. It was different, not being just sitting and counting numbers and making reports. So quite exciting. Joe was quite a character, as a lot of people know, and I learned a lot from him and with him. So I worked for 19 years with Joe McPhillips until he passed away in 2007. So as I said, besides business manager, I had to handle things like big theatrical productions. It was a privilege to meet people like Yves Saint Laurent, Pierre Berger, Oliver Stone, and many others, right? Who came to Paul Bowles. In fact, thanks to the school, I've then had an 8-year-long friendship with Paul Bowles, and who used to compose music for our school. So that's for the time I spent with Joe McPhillips, 19 years until 2007 when he passed away. But I also know a little bit about the history of the school because I was very much interested after he passed away to find out more about the school. And so I can tell you that the school was launched in 1950 when Tangier was still international, and Tangier needed an English-speaking school. Tangier had the Spanish school, had the French school, the Hebrew school, the Moroccan schools, the Italian school, but didn't have an English-speaking school. So some Americans got together, people working for RCA, which then became Voice of America, and Coca-Cola, and all these big American corporations, met and said, let's open an American school. And so that's what happened on October 1915. They rented a small villa up in the Marchand area, and they started, I think, with 67 students of all sorts of nationalities. And so that's how it began. 1950-52, it was a small house in the Marchand area. 1962, they moved to the second building, which still exists now, and it's an amazing, beautiful building. Now it's owned by a private Moroccan school, and interesting building because the German emperor stayed in it early 20th century when he visited Tangier. And then in 1962, this school where we are right now, which is a big piece of property, was inaugurated. Was inaugurated after a one-year construction. Beautiful buildings built by French, actually designed by a French architect and built by Spanish. I mean, we still have in 1962, international people, expats working in Tangier, and so this land was purchased, was quite much bigger than what it is now. Right now it's 6.5 hectares, which is about 15 acres. But in the 62, when it was inaugurated, I think it was at least twice as big. It's just that in the 80s, there was a financial crisis at AST, and they had to sell a big portion of that land to the Moroccan Ministry of Education. And so it was inaugurated in 1962 by the sister of King Hassan, late King Hassan II, Lala Aisha. And at that time, the director of the school was Omar Pound. And I mentioned this because Omar Pound is the son of Ezra Pound. And so a lot of people always remember this name and think that he was the first director. He was not the first director, but certainly a famous name. And there it goes. 1962, the Speak campus opens in Tangier, and interesting school because it was a mix of all nationalities, all different ethnic backgrounds, religions. Of course, Muslims, but Christians, Hindus, Jewish, and so it made the school quite special. Very open, tolerant. And the mix was interesting. And in fact, people that I still get in touch with now that attended the school in the 60s and in the 50s speak about this not only beautiful city of Tangier, but the amazing American School of Tangier that was here to give them a rather good education. Yeah, talk about education. The school has given a chance to many people, especially Moroccans, to get a very good education. And we ended up with ambassadors and amazing business people, but also scientists. I mean, we have so many graduates who've become big professors in America, working for American universities, including MIT. And yeah, I think this is a school of quality, and that's important to emphasize on. Voila! What can I add? Tangier has changed. Of course, we're now at 2020. We're celebrating the 70th anniversary, 70 years of existence, and also 70 years where Tangier, especially in the last 10 years, has gotten much bigger. It's a big, huge city. And so, the demographics are changing, a lot of things are changing. So the challenge is here on us to keep up with the good work that's been done in the past, and I think it's happening. It's happening, and the world is changing. It's different challenges, including the one everybody's talking about nowadays, the climate change. But we're still a school with 380 students of different nationalities, different backgrounds. It's nice to be working at the school. So, well, a happy birthday at the School of Tangier.
My name is Nabil Alami. I'm the Dean of Faculty and the head of the History Department at the American School of Tangier. This is my 7th year at AST. I was teaching for 16 years at a prep school in the Boston area called Brook School. And I was very excited when I decided to come to Morocco to work for AST. AST has a rich history, being the first American school in the country of Morocco. It is a small school, but it is a wonderful place to work. I'm very proud to be part of this project, which is a celebration of the 70th birthday of the American School of Tangier. We have many students, part of the who are in the 11th graders, who will participate in this project as well, who are doing research on the history of the school. About 7 students, each one of them are focusing on a 10-year period from 1950 to 2020. And we're looking at the different events that happened in that period of time that mark the history of this school. I believe that the American School of Tangier is a very special place. And I'm honored to work here. We've been faced with a lot of challenges, but also we are ready to build a new school for the 21st century, and this is our goal. So this will be an event that we will all be part of, and we hope that it will be a success.
So the COVID-19 pandemic had a huge impact on Morocco and on our school, of course. We had to adapt to a new reality. We actually first when we had the pandemic in Morocco, we closed the school and we went online. That was last spring. Um, and then when we got back this year, we had a hybrid system where classes will be divided in two groups, so we'll have one group one day and the other the next day. And that worked well because we are actually able to respect the distance in a classroom among students and teachers. Um, a good thing that came out of this is that all teachers and even students got to learn about new technology. We were able to give courses online last spring with Zoom and Google Classroom, and this year we're continuing with Google Classroom. So we're doing a lot of videos, we're using a lot of internet applications that help us in our teaching. We basically developed digital classroom online where we put all our material for our students. So this has been the positive side of this pandemic to try to find new solutions to this problem. And today, as we are starting a vaccination campaign in Morocco, we can say that we start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're very happy about that.
Hi, my name is Aisha. I'm a senior.
Hi, my name is Ziad, and I'm a junior.
I've been going to AST my entire life, and it's basically become my home. I've come to know like every part of it, all the teachers, and everything's been familiar. But with the COVID, obviously everything's had to change. We've been doing things that we've never done before, such as the virtual learning, and we've been going through different ways of doing the same thing. So mostly throughout work, for example, when we were in the pandemic, when we had lockdown, we weren't allowed to come to school at all, and everything had to be done from home, which was a bit strenuous for me personally because it was hard designating a certain time for school in a place that it would usually be reserved for things that I would take personal time to do. So my homework had to be done at home, like everything had to be done at home. There was no school environment, there was no school essence basically, and I didn't get a chance to see my friends or anything. And even when we came back after the lockdown finished, so after summer vacation, the beginning of my senior year, which is supposed to be the best year of our lives, it was a big shame, to be honest. I know that the school is doing everything that they can, and I'm really appreciative because it's great how we're allowed. We have a senior lounge. We're allowed special senior privileges. We're allowed they cut us a lot of slack, to be honest, and so that's great to see. But it's still a shame that we can't be with our entire class and we can't do the activities that we would usually do to bring the senior class together.
During long distance learning, I found myself struggling during the beginning of it. I found myself having to put in more effort to learn the same amount of things that other people, like in normal circumstances, that we would be learning. But as soon as I got used to it, I found it easier, and I still found myself having more free time, which allowed me to actually expand my learning into extracurriculars so that I could learn new things at the help of some of the teachers here that I'm very grateful to, and they helped me through email and through video calls for me to expand my learning and learn new things. To me, it's a shame that we couldn't meet our friends because during our junior year, our high school year, is the time where we make our friendships blossom even more than they normally do. And when our class is split in half, it's really hard to do. However, I've made do with a lot of my friends. We've gotten into video calls a lot of the times, and I'm very happy to actually have the school provide us with the foundation for us to stay in contact with our friends and with our teachers and learn new things.